Well, it's a big game tonight. How do you see tonight going, mate?
Closer than people think.
Closer than
people think. I'm seeing a lot of the show last night with judges. And what do you reckon the score will be, guys? Let us know in the chat. 4-0, 4-1, 5-0, 3-1, 3-0. Don't do that. Don't do that. I hope they're right, and I hope that I'm wrong. But I think it'll be a lot tighter than that. I think it'll be a lot tighter than that. I really do. And I feel like they're going to try to shut up shop and make it difficult for us. This is going to be very hostile for them tonight, Bayern Munich, because obviously they've got no away fans. They come to the Emirates. We're going to make it as loud as we can. It's one of the first times we've been here for a very, very, very long time. I don't see this being an absolute whitewash or thrashing. Have Arsenal got the potential to hurt Bayern Munich is the question. Yes, they have. And if we turn it on the way that we have, it could be a really, really good night. Judges is believing it's going to be. A few of my Arsenal mates think it's going to be. But I see a tight 1-0 to the Arsenal tonight, Terry. I don't see this being I think this would be quite an old school. I think they're going to do all they can to try and shut up shop so that they know they can take us to the Allianz knowing that they've got a good chance of going through. And they know that if they do allow Arsenal to blitz them and it be 2 or 3-0, it's going to be very, very difficult for them. So I don't know. I just feel like it will be a tighter game than people are giving them credit for. I think people have got this in their mind that because Bayern Munich have been blitzed by Bayern Leverkusen this season, that now they can go no further in this Champions League. I look at it slightly different. They have literally got this competition or their season is done. That is not good for Arsenal because they're going to put all they can into these 2 legs. So, yeah, that's the way I see it. I don't know where you boys are at with it. I mean, Arsenal playing well at the moment. So, of course, we're going into these favourites tonight to win. But I don't see this being a 3 or 4-0 game.
I don't think it'll be 3 or 4-0, but I think you'll win the game. I think Bayern are poor. I think Bayern are really, really poor. I've watched them a lot this year, Dan, and they're miles off it. This is the first time they've even managed to get to the quarterfinals for 4 years. 4 years they've not even made it to this stage. Something's just not right at the club when it comes to where they're playing in Champions League. They've been poor this year. People keep on saying, "Oh yeah, but are they really that poor?" Because Bayer Leverkusen are unbeaten. This is their worst league performance since 2011, I believe. So they are poor. They're a poor team. Their defense is all over the shop. Neuer looks finished to me. Their midfield is miles off the pace. They have a bagsman up top. I'll give you that. But I honestly feel that the way you're playing at the moment, I'm not going to sit here and mad disrespect Bayern, but I reckon 2-0 could easily be on the cards. And then all you need to do is go to the Allianz in the second leg, park the bus like you did at Etihad, and you're into the semi-final, bro. Like
that's not crazy.
No, it's not a crazy prediction. I genuinely think that tonight, get the job done. I've been a 180. When this draw was done, I thought, this is difficult. Going to the Allianz Arena second completely changed my mind. I think actually you should embrace playing at the Emirates first. Get the job done tonight, 2-0. Go to the Allianz, park the bus, you're in the semi-final. I honestly think that they're not good, bro. And as well, I feel like people don't fully appreciate just how good Arsenal are. Arsenal right now are probably the best defensive team in Europe.
Yeah.
Right? So you can talk about Harry Kane, but, Gabriel Saliba there cooking. Raya's doing really well. You got Rice sitting in front. I put a little bit of respect on Arsenal's name. You know what I mean? I think tonight, I think your defense will probably do their job. It's whether or not your attackers do theirs. Will Saka step up? Will Havertz step up? Will Odegaard step up? Because these are the players that need to win you the game. I think if you go to the Allianz losing tonight, I think you're out. But I don't think you will lose tonight. I think you'll win. Well, unless you bottle it, unless the lack of experience. I don't know what it is. Over a decade since you guys have been in like this stage of the Champions League. Maybe you could bottle it. I'm a bit nervous and that, but I don't see it, man. I honestly don't see it. I think 2-0 Arsenal.
Yeah, I think to win, I get where you're coming from. They've been awful this year by their standards, Bayern Munich, but they have still got some quality players, and it's knockout football, so it's different gravy. Will Arsenal succumb to pressures of the past, etc.? All those questions are there. I think if Arsenal win by 2 goals or more tonight, I think they're through. I think they'll be through because Bayern will then have to open up and really attack, and you'll be able to counter them. You're so hard to break down anyway. They struggle for large parts against Lazio, and I think Arsenal were a much better team than Lazio. And what we know about Arsenal is they can play different ways, and they can do it impeccably well, and I think that's going to serve you right. I'm intrigued if you get through this round to see what that does for Arsenal's confidence, because then it's a case of, well, you've gotten the better of City in the Premier League this year. You're knocking out one of the start of the season favourites and the team that I think over the last 3 or 4 fixtures, the score would be something like 15-3 to Bayern Munich. And I know that's a different Munich team and a different Arsenal team, but to kind of put those skeletons to rest, as it were, I think would be a really big thing. I think the fans play a big part tonight. There should be no Bayern Munich fans in there. Now, I have heard a little rumor today for a few people I follow on socials. There are Arsenal season ticket holders selling their tickets to Bayern Munich fans for ridiculous money, so they're in the stadium. Now, I don't know how much noise they're going to make, because if that's true, they're going to be spread about, and you probably won't want to stand up with a German accent cheering for Bayern Munich if they score a goal any stadium across the UK, and vice versa. So Arsenal fans, you've got to make noise, you've got to keep cheering, even if there's moments of adversity, because it's essentially 65,000 fans to 0. You should absolutely drown these players. And I think it's a night where even if you're 2-0 up, I think you've got to go for the 3rd and the 4th and try and kill it off. Arsenal have the capabilities of putting 3 or 4 goals past this Bayern Munich team, but I agree it's going to be very, very difficult to do it if you don't get the mentality bit right. And that's the only area that I worry about tonight for Arsenal, is do they know it's a Champions League knockout game. Is there the confidence to play with chess and to play with the freedom they need? If they do that and the crowd is up the whole time, I think they'll win by at least 2 clear goals. If not, maybe even a little bit more. And if they have that going away to Germany, I think they go through. If you draw, win by 1 goal, or heaven forbid lose, I don't think that may not end up being enough in the end. But it's going to be a very exciting game tonight. And if that crowd is as loud as I think it's going to be, I think Bayern Munich are in for a terrible night.
The only thing I'd say as well, Terry, is like Arsenal need to be clinical. They're not going to get a massive amount of chances. And even though they won 3-0 at Brighton, Potsy will agree with me that they were very wasteful in front of goal, Arsenal. I mean, they probably should have been about 5-0 up by half-time against Brighton. You know what I mean? In the end, they get the first goal because of the penalty. You think to yourself, well, hang on a minute, if they didn't get that penalty, you know what I mean, where's the goal coming from? Because they was missing chances left, right, and centre. You know what I mean? So they're not going to get that many chances tonight. When they do get the chances, they've got to make sure they bury those opportunities. Right. Because you're not going to get as many opportunities as you did against Brighton at the weekend, lads. You know what I mean? As bad as I think Bayern Munich are this year, they're still a good team that needs to be respected. You know what I mean? So you're going to get some opportunities. I've got no doubt about that. And it's up. This is what I said earlier. For me, I think your defence will do their job. Yeah, you can still concede a goal. You know, we're playing against a good team here, but I think your defence will do its job, and you're not going to concede 2-3 goals. I would be very surprised. You are going to get a few opportunities, not a massive amount. When you get those opportunities, you've got a bag. Saka the other day, you know what I mean, 7 or 8 yards out on his left foot, puts it wide. Gabriel, free header in the first minute of the game, needs to back, puts it wide. Jesus. You know, you're not going to get away with this in the Champions League. You'll get the opportunities. I've no doubt. Got to put them away.
The reason we got to do that in this leg is because I believe at the Allianz, it's going to be difficult to really go at them. Yeah, because it's a completely different game, different fixture, stuff like that. So we've got to give it a go tonight. We've got to go all out tonight for me. And I wanted to ask you, LB, because we're in a position right now with Jesus and Zinchenko where they're not actually getting into our first team. And they're not wanted to get into our first team by a lot. There's a lot of people saying Kai Havertz can't be dropped. They want Martinelli and Saka on the wings, not Jesus. Zinchenko is now 4th choice behind Timber when he's fit, Tomiyasu and Kivior. We're kind of in 1 year of signing Zinchenko and Jesus. I'm in the same position as they were at Man City, where they're now squad players and not first teamers. And I wanted to ask you if you saw that coming or if that's just what they are.
Of course I saw it coming, man. I told Arsenal fans when they signed him, Jesus ain't a striker, he's a winger. I remember doing a show with Don Robbie, and he was like, oh yeah, and I said Alvarez is a better striker than Jesus. He couldn't believe what I was saying. Jesus, I'm telling you, from my time watching Jesus at City, his best position was on the wing. He's a press merchant. Yeah, he can score. He's got a bit of a better angle when he's cutting in off the wing. If he's playing on the right, he can just whip across him with his right foot. If he's on the left, he can cut in on his right, better angle to shoot at. He's got the work rate to run the channels. He works really hard defensively. And he's not the greatest finisher in the world. So when you do put him up front, he'll miss chances. So, you know, it's no surprise to me that Arsenal are now in this situation where they're a really good team going for Champions League and Premier League. You're all thinking to yourself, we need a goal scorer. Well, he's not. He wasn't ever a goal scorer. Zinchenko's different in the sense that, like, clearly, you know, obviously Pep done it last year playing the 4 centre-backs at full-back. I think that is something that obviously Arteta's now doing with Kivior. You know, you just want, you know, if you've got a good midfield, yeah, which Arsenal now have, and a good front three, Do you really need? Are we? I think the days are gone where you need a flying fullback. Do you really need a flying fullback? Not really. If you've got Odegaard, Havertz, Rice, Jorginho, Saka, Martinelli, you don't need that extra player. So you go, you know what we'll do? We'll play Kivior and just be really, really, really solid defensively. And that's what you've done. So
for me, I am actually kind of pretty much finished with Zinchenko now. Like, a lot of people love him and think he's absolutely pivotal to the way that we play football. For me, I like him on the ball, but I cannot watch this guy try to defend anymore. I'm sorry, I cannot do that. Against Brighton at the weekend, I was there, and I'm looking at him thinking, why are they going down the right-hand side the whole time? Go down Ben White's side, boom, a wall, no chance. Gabriel Saliba next year, no chance. This guy is the weak link, which is why I would be playing Tomiyasu or Kivior tonight. I would not be playing Zinchenko. I'll be making sure that we've got that covered, because for me, I think Kivior has been very impressive when he's not been told to invert, obviously, and Ben White has. And Tomiyasu has always been a very good one-on-one defender and good aerially, because he's got like the physique for it and he's got the height for it. For Zinchenko, if he wants to be kept in the squad and be a good on-the-ball player, that's fine. But trying to watch this guy defend now is just actually quite embarrassing. It's cringy, painful.
Do you know what I find so interesting is the evolution of fan bases in the sense of when your team's struggling and not doing very well, player debates are all the rage. Who should start? Tomiyasu or Zinchenko, etc. But because you guys are doing well, top of the league, I've seen this conversation come up. But most Arsenal fans are just like, yeah, they came in, did well last year, they've had moments this year, but people are playing better than them. We're doing well. There's almost like zero debate about it in terms of no one's really annoyed, if that makes sense. Where if you guys were sitting seventh and chopping and changing your team, it would be, it's because this person's been moved out of position. It's because he's there, because that person's over there. I find it so interesting watching successful teams. I remember having this conversation about 2 years ago. Successful teams, fan bases don't really have those player debates in the same way teams that are struggling do, because it's kind of all you've got. And that's how like player FCs would get created. Again, player FCs, I don't really see existing at successful teams per se. It's predominantly at teams that are struggling. But I do believe they both become squad players now. And although Fabrizio's come out today and said, oh, no, Arsenal, no plans to let Jesus go, I don't believe that's true. I believe Arsenal are going to quote that to Fabrizio because they want to raise the potential sale value. But if someone comes in and offers you 40-50 million pounds for Gabriel Jesus now, and you could invest that money towards a new prolific number 9 or someone new, young, fresh, less injury prone that can cover the left or the right wings, you may be better off doing it. Zinchenko as well. I think that Tomiyasu's ahead of him when fit. I think Kivior's shown himself to be very capable. Plus, there are other young left backs in the world that you could maybe look at. I don't think Zinchenko will go this time. I still think Zinchenko will be here next year. But that's just the evolution of football. And it's so interesting to look at Arsenal fans become fans of Arsenal again, rather than fans of players. And again, only struggling clubs focus on players per se, rather than the actual football club. Because growing up as a kid, I hated it when Beckham left. He was my favorite player. I was over it the next day, and we signed Ronaldo, and I was buzzing, and I didn't care about Beckham anymore. But I reckon that, when your team's struggling, if we were struggling in that era, but we had Beckham, Man United fans would probably still be talking about it now that we sold him, if that makes sense. But yeah, I do think they become fringies. Boys, other game tonight, City